It is against this background that the Nigerian government has put together a high-level round table.
Demonstrate greater commitment to the fight against illicit financial flows by releasing them unconditionally. President Buhari challenges
We hope that they
international
call off the
community.
strike immediately so that everything gets back to normal.
Strike by organized labor takes its toll on the nation's socio-economic life. And on special assignment, correspondent on World Tourism Day. A very good evening to you. Thank you for joining us on NTN Network News. I'm Elizabeth Stober in Abuja and Demola Adeoye joins me from Lagos. Now we begin the news on the political scene. The Independent National Electoral Commission will any moment from now announce the results of the Osun State governorship rerun election. The results are being collated at the Commission's office in Osogbo, the Osun State capital. The rerun election was conducted in 7 units spread across 4 local government areas following the declaration on Sunday by the returning officer that the September 22nd election was inconclusive. We're monitoring development at the Collation Center and we will bring you live the announcement of the governorship rerun election results. And as presidential governorship and National Assembly primaries draw closer, some party supporters in Bauchi State have expressed dismay at the decision by the national headquarters to conduct direct primaries. This view was expressed at a rally in Bauchi State. Bulak Afsa completes the report.
Supporters of the All Progressive Congress (APC) turned out in their numbers to protest what they said will not be in the interest of their party. Direct primaries. They said Bauchi is vulnerable and the direct primaries could lead to chaos. Secretary of the party, Alhaji Hussein Gambodi Sina, who spoke on behalf of the protesters, pleaded with the leadership of the APC at the national to rescind its decision in the interest of peace. Similarly, youths under the auspices of Bauchi Youth Advocates for Good Governance have made a passionate appeal to the national chairman of the APC, Comrade Adams Oshomole, to reconsider his decision on direct primaries and allow the will of the majority stakeholders to prevail. Chairman of the group, Comrade Malam Awal Gotal, made the call during a press briefing.
This is the work of this giant forum. The National Secretariat of the APC will consider this stance of ours, whom sees through the lens of rationality and envisage danger of conducting a direct primary election.
In Bauchi, Bulak Afsa, NTA News.
Now, some workers are advocating the harmonization of salary structure rather than the current agitation for wage increase. This position re-echoed as the warning strike by organized labor begins to take its toll on the nation's socio-economic life. Tunji Adequanju visited the Federal Secretariat, Abuja, and here is what he brought back.
I wish I will have a voice to tell labor that they should go for harmonization of salaries and not really increment, because the increment, if you look at even the level 14 officer in civil service now, by the time they have all the deductions and you see that he's going home with less than 100,000 naira.
Ukamba Fina is a senior civil servant and a unionist. She believes that the agitation for increased minimum wage, which formed the crux of the present labor strike, will not solve the problem.
When you are working in CBN, you are working FRSC and other good agencies, and I'm a civil servant. You know my salary. My salary does, in fact, it doesn't last 1 week. I will finish my salary.
Meanwhile, official activities remained paralyzed at the Federal Secretariat, Abuja. All offices were shut, with some security men watching over government property.
Just earlier today, the Honorable Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, did say that government is ready to assuage the feelings of the labor and is about implementing all that they required. From the Federal Secretariat in Abuja, I am Tunji Adepoju.
And the strike embarked upon by the organized labor seems to be gradually taking its toll on business activities in Abuja. Oku Ekpeyon reports on the mood of business activities in the heart of the city.
This is Tafawa Balewa Road in Area 8 here in the heart of Abuja, where business activities on a normal day can be very hectic. Traffic around the road here is usually also very busy. But on a day like this, there is a lull in business activities. Of course, this is due to the strike by the organized labor. Some respondents say, though the strike may be a worthy cause, the ripple effect of causing a lull in business activities is a source for concern.
Everybody needs money, so the town has to be busy. But right now, it's too quiet for us right now. So whatever has to happen right now, let them just call up the strike and let's know our next move.
I saw cars parked outside. I was so surprised. I was asking what happened. They said no open gate. I wanted to enter. They did not stop me. They said they are on strike, which has changed my own movement today, which what I wanted to achieve today I've lost. So it's not, I can't say it. It's really affecting. That's affecting us already.
I'm a businessman. I have a press, and you find out that everywhere is quiet. Those people that are supposed to come are not coming as a result of what is happening. We hope that they call off the strike immediately so that everything gets back to normal.
The popular Area 2 market, which is a delight for shoppers around the busy work vicinity, was visibly without the usual hustle and bustle. In Abuja, Oku Ekpeyon, NTA News.
And the Chief of Staff to the President, Abakari, today met with the leaders of the organized labor to iron out ways of ending the ongoing strike embarked upon by workers of the country. Both parties described the meeting as fruitful, which indicates that the warning strike may be put to rest in a matter of hours. President of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Ayuba Waba, told State House correspondent Jide Onifade that the details of the meeting would be communicated to the Nigerian workers before taking further action.
Give us detail of the government position, which we will have to go and convey to our members, and then we can revert back to him. So this is how far we have gone. But clearly, I think we have tried to share all the details of the information that pertain to the issue of the national minimum wage and how the ongoing negotiation was stalled, and also the best way to get out of it. And government have then given us the award, which will also go and communicate to our members and revert back to government. Thank you.
The purpose of this meeting is to understand what led to this strike. Okay, and they told me what it is. That's what. There's no position of government. All what they want to understand is why do you have to go to this stage? And they told me what led to this. And what led to this is not about the figure, it's just the process. But we've already reached the stage of looking at the figures, whether they're right or wrong or too high or too low. No, that stage has not been reached. It's the process of arriving at that figure that got stalled. Yeah. And that's my understanding of it. Sure. So there's no government position, any figures at all. In fact, they don't have a position, any figures at all. That's the truth of the matter.
Now, joining me in the studio to provide perspective to the warning strike by organized labor is the Minister of Labor and Employment, Chris Ngige. You're welcome to our studio.
Thank you. Good evening, Nigerians.
Now, despite negotiations, labor still went on strike. Could the strike have been avoided?
Of course, I have always held the position that this strike is unnecessary.
Why?
Because I don't really see the urgent need for it. We have not even come up to the point of disagreement on the fundamentals of the minimum wage. And that point of disagreement on fundamentals will be when the figures are placed and we are unable to reach and agree on a common figure in a tripartite committee. This minimum wage committee is tripartite because you have employers of labor called Organized Private Sector, NASIMA, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, small and medium scale industries owners, NECA, which is the umbrella ILO recognized employers association. That's one leg. Second leg is the two federation of unions, and the other unrecognized for now, ULC, United Labour Congress. Yes. They form the second leg. Then the third leg is government. And government acts as an employer, as well as being what the ILO called the recognized authority, where the authority of the land. So this is a minimum wage tripartite committee, plus, because we brought in state governors into the mix. So we have to all agree. That's why it's a tripartite negotiation. Tripartite, everybody will agree. There must be a consensus. And for the issue of minimum wage, and even other collective bargaining agreements, CBA, once money is involved, the cardinal principle guiding it is ability to pay. The ILO gave it to us. The convention is domesticated here. And so it's a guiding principle in labor arbitration and labor disputes.
Okay, just before we go now, what would be your plea to labor leaders?
Of course, I've told them yesterday, we met yesterday, the meetings are continuous. Today they've also met with the Chief of Staff to the President, and I think this will be our terminal meeting because we're all saying the same thing to them. There was an element of distrust from what I can say. There is a feeling that the federal government is shielding governors from bringing figure. No, we are trying to do an economic engineering. The federal government of Nigeria manages the economy of Nigeria. Even though states are sovereign and they do some fiscalism in their states, we all draw from the same purse, which is called the federation account. And whatever you draw from it, the federal government takes its own, the state take, and the local government. At the end of the day, it is one economy. So the economy management team wants to know the governor's proposal so that we can put it on a weighted balance among other factors and look at it. Because if you disobey the principle of ability to pay, you might fit a figure where the state governments will be unable to pay, and then they do retrenchment of workers and put workers into the unemployment market. The federal government might even be unable to pay and retrench. But this is what the president promised himself and the country, and asked me as Minister of Labor to know that he has been a wage earner all through his life, and that he doesn't want any worker to be retrenched in Nigeria. So these are the things you bring on a weighted balance before you come out with a figure. So we have asked for an adjournment, and we're now going to reconvene. We're giving Labour the date for recommencement of the negotiation, which is 4th of October. 4th of October, yes, 2018, next week, Thursday.
So
4-5.
All right, thank you for coming on Network
You're
News.
welcome, You're welcome. So we expect that with the last round of negotiation now, they'll be able to call off, and workers should resume tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Minister.
Thank you.
Now, moving on towards prompt payment of workers' salaries and improvement in their welfare, governors of all the 36 states of the Federation have now made revenue generation top priority due to dwindling federal allocations to states. This was at a workshop on human resource management for State Internal Revenue Service officers in Abuja. Adebola Brooks-Linsonde reports.
One of the challenges facing some state governments in Nigeria is inability to pay workers' salaries as and when due. And it is in a bid to tackle these and other challenges that these tax managers from the North Central converged on Abuja to strategize and cross-pollinate ideas.
Quantitative.
They are being equipped with execution plans that will boost the internal generated revenue of their states.
Your staff must also be professional.
For the Director General of the Forum, Asishana Okauru, their main objective is to help their principals govern better.
You're not just interested in ensuring that funds are generated. You want to be able to check leakages. There are a lot of things working right now at the state level.
And on the industrial actions by workers, they proposed dialogue as the way out.
Pressure group is all about dialogue, consultations. It's better to talk and talk. We'll find a solution through it.
The Nigeria Governors Forum was set up to provide a platform for collaboration amongst the executive governors on matters of public policy towards promoting good governance in the country. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
Still on workers' welfare, union leaders have urged the federal government to dialogue with Labour so as not to prolong the nationwide warning strike. The Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions, NASU, at its national executive meeting held in Abuja, while commending government for the approval of 8 billion naira for the payment of earned allowances of non-teaching staff of universities, urged the Federal Ministry of Education to facilitate the process of the disbursement of the fund.
I wish to commend the federal government for the inauguration of the renegotiation committee for the polytechnics and colleges of education. We are, however, dissatisfied with these two committees. Have refused to work, thereby creating the impression that government is insincere with the process of the renegotiation of the agreement.
On the minimum wage, NASU and Medical and Health Workers Union say they are saddened that the work of the tripartite committee is being hampered by the lack of statistics.
$18,000 naira minimum wage is just about $30-something. That is a far cry from what it was in 2011 when we negotiated the existing one.
It is important to note that by the National Minimum Wage Act of 2004, the national minimum wage is supposed to be reviewed after every 5 years. But from 2011, when it was last reviewed, was 7 years.
Unions want industrial harmony to prevail in the land for higher productivity and growth. The federal government has declared Monday, 1st October 2018 as public holiday to commemorate Nigeria's 58th independence anniversary. A statement by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Interior, Mohammed Bello Umar, says the Minister of Interior, Abdurrahman Bello Dambazo, who made the declaration on behalf of the federal government, congratulates Nigerians on the anniversary and urged them to sustain the Buhari administration's efforts towards maintaining and strengthening the unity and peace of Nigeria. Ahead on the news tonight, wife of the president, Aisha Buhari, appointed UN Special Ambassador to end tuberculosis. We'll bring you details when we come back.
Eshima. Mama. I'm out of food. Eshima, thank you, Ma.
Amaka, ṣé wọ́n ni? Soap, orí, shea butter.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
All right, kids, today you're all going to tell me how you all spent your holidays. So the essay will be... Who did that? Who did that?
in the fun and excitement of the new school session with great tasting Indomie noodles. Hurry now and get yours. Indomie noodles, tasty nutrition, good for you.
The Minister of State for Mines and Steel Development, Honorable Abubakar Bawa Buhari, invites commissioners, permanent secretaries of relevant ministries, and other stakeholders in the minerals and metals sector to the second edition of the National Council on Mining and Minerals Resources Development, with the theme Minerals and Metals Sector, Frontier for National Economic Diversification, which is to be hosted by the Kaduna State Government. Date, 2nd to 4th October 2018. Venue, Hotel 17, Conference Hall, number 16, Lafia Street, Kaduna. Time 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily. Memoranda of not more than 5 pages in both hard and soft copies are hereby invited from stakeholders on the following topics. The memoranda should be submitted on or before Wednesday, 26th September 2018 to the Office of the Director, PRS, Ministry of Mines and Steel Development, Wusetu, Abuja. For further inquiries, please call 0806-538-2868. Dr. Abdul Kadri Muhazu, Permanent Secretary, Announcer.
Ever since he could hold the bat, Charles wanted to play like his big brother. Victor had skills that matched the best in the land. Never mind, little brother. Drink your Dano milk and keep practicing. So that is what he did. And step by step, glass by glass, the boy grew in spirit and strength. Drink your Dano milk and be strong.
Also available in Dano Cool Cow, Dano Slim, and Dano Flavored Milk. Choose Dano. Choose goodness.
Don't do it. Una never see say don't bring sugar come.
Make my brother
Una go carry this sugar go inside now.
Oh boy. Now what be this way you go back?
Now important sugar why I want send now.
Government don't bring the Nigerian Sugar Master Plan, NSMP, where go increase sugar production for we country.
You never hear say federal government don't ban the importation of sugar where they for packet into we country. These boys where they drop trousers work out for town go get work to do. Now him be say poverty go reduce. Pounds, dollars, naira go berekete. Lights go den nyafu from the sugarcane back where you they chop through away. Sugarcane farmers self go enjoy them go train their children go better school.
Make we support government for the Nigerian Sugar Master Plan.
No sell, no buy, reject finished sugar products when they smuggle enter we country.
Make we join hands together with government to make Nigeria better.
Na National Sugar Development Council, NSDC, de Nakuna, this story.
This is my first experience riding this train. I've heard about it so much all around the city.
Actually, I'm surprised that such a development is coming to us.
I was impressed, saw it, and actually you can compare with any type of train, all over the world.
I could not imagine that I'll be going from Edo straight to the airport by train.
And the environment is so clean, and the ACs are cool.
I want to commend federal government for the initiative to provide these train services.
And I wish to laud the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari in seeing that this project is a reality.
Everybody to alight on the right side of the train. Thank you.
Thank you for staying with us. Now to reports on the UN General Assembly. President Muhammadu Buhari has challenged the international community, particularly countries warehousing stolen funds from Africa, to demonstrate greater commitment to the fight against illicit financial flow by releasing them unconditionally. The president was addressing high-level dialogue on the fight against corruption organized by the African Union and Nigeria on the sidelines of the 73rd General Assembly of the United Nations in New York. Foreign Desk correspondent Makut Simon Macham reports.
In fulfillment of his assignment as the African Union champion for the fight against corruption, President Muhammadu Buhari has continued to speak on how to stop the wealth of Africa from being stolen, as well as agitating for the recovery of huge sums that are already looted. Building on his speech at the general debate of the 73rd General Assembly of the United Nations, the president led the AU high-level dialogue on winning the fight against corruption by leveraging on international cooperation to achieve sustainable development in Africa.
It is against this background that the Nigerian government has put together
a high-level roundtable calling on Africans in diaspora to converge, brainstorm, and come up with their own inputs and strategies that would complement the AU's efforts on curbing the menace of corruption. We are requesting them also to drum up support to tackle safe havens, in quote, for illicit financial outflows from Africa.
He says Nigeria is leading the fight with tremendous successes, despite some resistance from those who are bent on sustaining selfish interests.
In March 2016, the federal government and the Swiss government signed a letter of intent on the restitution of illegally acquired assets forfeited in Switzerland under the agreements. Swiss government will repatriate 321 million United States dollars illicitly acquired.
African Union Chairperson President Paul Kagame, who sent in a message, as well as the President of the African Union Commission, Moussa Faki, were in consonance with other panelists that the fight against corruption must be international, just as it is local.
I thank His Excellency President Buhari for leading us in this effort. Every effort has to be made to eliminate corruption if we are to achieve our vision of an integrated Africa.
Let's have some parameters for negotiation. Right now what we have are ad hoc processes that undermine our sovereignty.
We should speak with one voice that all stolen funds from Africa must be returned to Africa.
The dialogue is of the belief that sustaining advocacy and the campaign for a corrupt-free Africa will lead the continent to development faster than envisaged. From New York in the United States, Makut Simon Macham, NT News.
Still in New York, President Muhammadu Buhari and President Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana met on the sidelines of the ongoing United Nations General Assembly, during which the Nigerian leader expressed delight that the attacks against Nigerian traders in Ghana were being decisively taken care of. Briefing President Buhari, the Ghanaian leader said there was no intention to deliberately target Nigerians, noting that it was all about complying with the rules that guide trading in the country. Ghana assures the international community that there is no orchestrated action by government or any state institution targeted at Nigerian nationals or any particular foreign national. Special advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, in a statement, quotes President Buhari as saying that Nigeria and Ghana have a relationship that dates back in time, and urged citizens of both countries to comply with the laws. In another development, that Africa's newest state, South Sudan, is passing through a turbulent period is no longer news. What appears to be news now is that growing attention the world is paying to the quick resolution of the political crisis that has left many in desperate situation. Nigeria is among countries that is leading the search for a lasting solution, as it demonstrated just that at a meeting held on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. Let's hear it from Makut Simon Macham.
All efforts to find peaceful, negotiated political solutions to these wars, which cannot be won by force of arms alone.
When President Muhammadu Buhari told the world during his address at the 73rd General Assembly of the United Nations that the search for peace and stability around the world requires honesty, goodwill, and the general good above personal interest, he meant every word of it. At this closed-door meeting on resolving the South Sudan crisis, the president was represented by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, who spoke of Nigeria's desire for the contending parties in South Sudan to abide by the spirit and letter of the agreement signed as they look at the suffering of the citizens.
You know, one of the key ingredients that I pointed out was the issue of cantonment, you know, of the soldiers of the different factions. That it's absolutely important to maintain that. And, you know, of course, it's going to cost money. The resources have to be made available, and we have to build trust.
Nigeria's position is in line with the theme of the 73rd General Assembly of the United Nations, which speaks of shared responsibilities for peaceful, equitable, and sustainable societies. Essentially, President Muhammadu Buhari made the world to understand that no nation can solve all its problems alone. Nigeria, therefore, as a global player, is ready, according to the president, to cooperate with the rest of the world in solving its immediate challenges and, of course, the challenges far away from it. From the UN headquarters in New York, Makut Simon Macham, NTA News.
In the meantime, following the adoption of political declaration towards ending tuberculosis at the 73rd session of the United Nations General Assembly, wife of the President, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, has been appointed as the UN Special Ambassador to end the disease. This is in recognition of her selfless service in health advocacy. State House correspondent Aliu Kabir reports that while addressing the Tuberculosis Committee and other world leaders at the session, Mrs. Buhari made the commitment not to relent in her advocacy until tuberculosis is eliminated globally.
With the declaration and the commitment of the world leaders towards ending tuberculosis across the globe, effort of all stakeholders towards achieving target is paramount. To that regard, the expected role to be played by the wife of the President, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, in championing the advocacy is the priority as the current UN ambassador to end TB. While addressing TB committee at the high-level meeting to end the epidemic in the world, the wife of the President reaffirmed her commitment to continue to lend her voice in galvanizing support and commitment, particularly funding and the required strategies in eliminating the preventable and curable disease of tuberculosis. With Nigeria ranking 7th in the world and 2nd in Africa amongst the high burden of TB, the wife of the President noted that the advocacy will also focus on the elimination of stigmatization, referred to as deadlier than the disease itself.
Her Excellency was invited in her capacity as Global TB Ambassador together with Bill and Melinda Gates to lend their voices and make their own contributions towards the endorsement of this declaration and ensuring that this declaration also is put into action so that the sustainable development target of ending TB by 2030 can be attained.
She is an appointed global TB ambassador and champion, so she has a lot of things to deliver to the world and call on other world leaders, particularly first ladies of different countries.
In the meantime, Mrs. Buhari shared experiences with the global community on the successes recorded in Nigeria in improving the health of women, children, and other vulnerable under her Future Assured program. This was at the meeting convened by the First Lady of the Niger Republic, Lala Malika Isufu, attended by other spouses of the world leaders at the sideline event of the United Nations General Assembly on increasing access to young girls' education and retention in school, as well as countering early marriage and its harmful consequences.
Already we have a lot of girls that are dropouts, and we have given them the opportunity to continue their education even after getting married. And also the agencies are doing very well in collaboration with the state government, the governor's wives, and also in collaboration with my popular program called Future Assured, which deals with the welfare of women or well-being of women and children.
Stakeholders applauded Mrs. Buhari's effort in improving lots of women and children in Nigeria, describing it as a model in transforming the lives of the vulnerable people. In New York City, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
9 affected member countries of the United Nations, supported by the United States, are in New York to work on the principles to guide government action to combat human trafficking in global supply chains. Joy Osiago on location reports that Nigeria is one of the nations supporting the global call to action.
They find lasting solutions to them, even as nations prepare to catch up with the sustainable development goals before the year 2030. One of the issues of critical global importance receiving urgent attention at the 73rd session is that of forced labor, modern-day slavery, and human trafficking, which is being a clog in the wheel of progress, even from the administration of the former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon.
They are fleeing war, political instability, and insecurity to seek a better future.
So you have children and people working without being paid or paid very little.
The new bold step in the global fight to combat modern-day slavery, known as the Call to Action, is a joint effort by the governments of the United Kingdom, Nigeria, Canada, Australia, Bahrain, Bangladesh, and Argentina. The essence of the high-level participation is to affirm the sense of urgency and importance of government action to combat human trafficking, illegal migration, and cheap labor.
And if the main problem that companies face in trying to address modern slavery in their supply chain is that they don't really know where it's happening.
Nigeria is saying no to this modern day slavery. That is why we are here. We are joining other countries of the world to give a voice to these voiceless people.
They are deliberating on the principles for action to deal with the global supply chain, which has been a major challenge in the fight. From the United Nations headquarters in New York, Joy Usiago, NTA News.
Tourism and digital transformation is the focus for this year's World Tourism Day, as Nigeria joins the global community to mark the day. Oinaya Carlo Oka in this report examines the impact of digitization to the sector.
Economic contribution of more than $7.6 trillion yearly, the travel and tourism represents one of the world's largest industry. However, because this field is rapidly evolving, practitioners say it is imperative to keep up with latest developments. Digitization is a key word. According to a study by the World Economic White Paper, digitization is a cause of large-scale and sweeping transformations across multiple aspects of business. Hence, the tourism sector is far from immune to the digital transformation. A report by Forbes shows that the tourism sector has been impacted by latest trends like mobile integration, artificial intelligence, focus on data, virtual reality, and much more. The study further reveals that travelers spend an average of 53 days visiting almost 30 websites during the decision-making process.
A few years ago, we can't do destination marketing easily, but now through digital, through social media, information technology, internet, we use it to broadcast some destinations.
The technology right now has exposed so many people into online booking.
As digitization transforms tourism globally, how has Nigeria fared in these aspects?
About 17 years ago, only few Nigerians used the internet. But with the introduction of GSM in 2001, the story changed, as the country now has about 98 million internet subscribers. And that brings us to the world of digitization, which has changed the way things are done. In tourism, digitization has transformed the industry because at the press of a button on one's mobile phone, one can access information on any location of your choice. Although the number of internet users is on the increase, the impact on the tourism sector seems to be slow, and this practitioner attributes to certain factors.
When you don't have access to the tourism side, when the tourism sites are not developed, what are you going to say?
With the introduction of some promotional programs like Tour Nigeria, the Nigerian Flavor, Nigerian Tourism Regulatory Body NTDC says it is in tune with the trend.
Search hashtag Tour Nigeria or hashtag Nigerian Flavors, and you will see in 1 year the amount of content that has been generated under those hashtags. And that is the whole idea of creating a brand and marketing the brand and creating an allegiance and a connection between the people and the brand.
The future of tourism is said to be digital, and the need for Nigeria to fully embrace this, many say, will go a long way in projecting the country's rich tourism potential. Oinaya Carlo Oka, NTA News.
You're watching NTA Network News. Time to take a break to bring you some messages. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the daring and invincible Louis the Mosquito.
responsible for 200 malaria cases all on its own. Is there anything that can kill Louis? Morphine! Presenting Mortine Power Guard. Its powerful formula kills malaria mosquitoes fast. So, get Mortine Power Guard.
Madam. Brought us as usual.
As usual.
You
have no problem.
For the three
You are welcome, sir.
As usual, yeah?
Welcome. You take that one. You take that one. You don't understand? We want Nigerian homegrown rice. Finish. You don't have? You don't have?
Join the rice revolution today.
No other rice that tastes like Nigerian rice. Are you sorry? That's the Nigerian rice we are talking about. Chocolate made in Nigerian rice. Healthy food. I'm going to bring Mrs. Mobu to come to chocolate rice made in Nigeria here. And see how it are made.
Correct.
How they are cooked.
Correct.
Homegrown rice are good for your health. It boosts our economy and give employment to our people.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Thank you for staying with us. A working group which will monitor the conditions of various detention centers across the country to make sure that they conform with the rule of law and human rights conditions has been inaugurated. Chairman of the Administration of Criminal Justice Monitoring Committee and Chief Judge of the FCT High Court, Justice Ishaq Bello, inaugurated the committee. Femi Okeo reports.
Already in existence is a monitoring committee which oversees the implementation of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act. But Section 34 of the same Act recommends the establishment of subcommittees, one of which will ensure that police and other detention centers are run in the desired way to ensure the improvement of criminal justice. Justice Ishaq Bello told the committee to come up with strategies that would improve the condition of such centers.
We are concerned about public complaints, about ill treatment, unfair handling, unclean environment, and so many lapses. This committee will be the one to be monitoring around, going into the police cell, looking at the police cells, any detention centers, to make sure that there is proper treatment and humane environment on people behind bars.
Secretaries of both the monitoring and reform committees speak on the partnership that would ensure the successful implementation of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act.
They report back to the monitoring committee. Monitoring committee report back to the CJN quarterly, and that's the chain that you've created so that there is a checks and balances.
What we are doing today is represent another milestone in our collaboration efforts at getting all the stakeholders in the justice sector to work together.
In Abuja, Femi Okeo, NJ News.
Jigawa State Government has commended the Joint National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, for its prompt intervention to communities ravaged by flood in the state. Deputy Governor of the state, Ibrahim Hassan Hadija, gave the commendation in Abuja while briefing the Director General of the agency, Mustafa Mehaja, on the level of devastation. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu reports.
The Deputy Governor said more than 100 hectares of farmlands have been washed away and 32 lives lost, as well as property worth millions of naira destroyed by the flood. Reiterating the commitment of the state government in alleviating the plight of flood victims in the state, the Deputy Governor said NEMA's intervention has also gone a long way in giving a sense of belonging to victims of the flood.
Things have begun to stabilize as the water has started to recede. I got some very good news from the Director General that apart from the normal disaster relief situation, he's also packaging together an emergency approach to the food problem.
Director General of NEMA, Mustafa Mehaja, thanked the Deputy Governor for the visit and promised to leave no stone unturned in alleviating the plight of the victims of the disaster. He promised to undertake an on-the-spot assessment visit of the ravaged areas in Jigawa State with a pledge to make necessary arrangements government at ensuring a hitch-free evacuation and relocation exercise.
Our team were in Jigawa. They inspected the flood. They sent their reports over the weekend, and we have taken steps to ensure that the first needed relief is moved.
As the waters recede in the dams and rivers, it is hoped that residents of communities in flood-prone areas can now be rest assured of their safety. In Abuja, Ilyasu Aliakubu, NTA News.
In the meantime, the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, has donated relief materials to flood-affected states in the country. Presenting the relief materials to the Minister of State for Health, Professor Osage Ehaniri, the acting UNFPA country representative, Dr. Eugene Kongunin, explains that the items are mainly for women and girls, especially pregnant women and lactating mothers. The gesture, he says, is in tune with UNFPA's role of providing life-saving reproductive health care to women in crisis-affected countries. Rabi Abdallah reports that the Minister of State for Health, Dr. Osage Ehaniri, assured the UNFPA team of prompt dispatch of the relief materials, which include dignity kit for pregnant women and sleeping mats in temporary locations to the affected areas. Ecowas Parliament wants Sierra Leone's major political parties to withdraw all pending electoral cases in court arising from the March 2018 elections. This is to allow for the settlement of issues politically without violating the rule of law. Joseph Orok reports that this is one of the resolutions of the Parliament in Abuja after considering the report of its Committee on Political Peace and Security.
Sierra Leone is presently governed with majority opposition party in parliaments and minority party in the executive arm. And this has been generating some political tension in the country.
Still a court order on members of the opposition, including the opposition leader Yechenuba, that even if he disagrees with the ruling party, all they have to do now is to go to court and trigger the injunction and prohibit him from going. And there's a problem we have in Africa, Mr. Speaker.
To douse this tension, the Ecowas parliaments, like the Commission, had sent 2 delegations to entrench lasting political stability in the country. And so after considering the reports of the mission with heated debates, the parliaments, among other recommendations, resolved that the Speaker of the Ecowas parliaments, Mustafa Sisilo, should lead another mission to confirm situation of things in that country.
Urge the President of the Ecowas Commission to extend to Sierra Leone the jurisdiction or mandate of the Special Representative of the President of the Ecowas Commission in Liberia, pending the opening of an ECOWAS unit in the country. This measure will help to build on the achievements of the mediation conducted by Parliament. But before the end of the year, I would like to see when I can come and meet with the authorities. And it's in the interest of government, because if there is peace and stability, the government stands to benefit, because they were elected in order to ensure progress.
With this, the extraordinary session of the parliament ends in Abidjan, as the parliamentarians move to Monrovia, Liberia, for another sensitization program. In Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, Joseph Orok, NTA News.
Time now to join Demola in Lagos for more reports. Over to you, Demola.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Good evening and a warm welcome to Lagos. The ongoing expansion of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport Road is now expected to be completed in the first quarter of 2019. Construction work on the road, which started in 2017, has reached over 50% completion. Paul Omokago has the details.
The Murtala Mohammed International Airport Road is expected to look like on completion. Construction work on the 6-kilometer, 10-lane road has attained an appreciable level. Some sections of the road have been tarred, while stone base has been completed on other sections. Piling of the area earmarked for flyover is ongoing, while the 3 pedestrian bridges are at various levels of construction.
If you look at the standard of how an international airport should be, it wasn't really good because we are always having issues of traffic up every time here on this road.
The road was so rough and it doesn't befit it as airport or international. But now, by the time they finish it, everything will improve.
I'm happy, like I can see this work going on. It gives me joy because I apply this road going towards Ikeja almost every day. And then I drive, and then the potholes, man, it has been very, very terrible.
But what assurance is the Lagos State government giving on the completion of the project?
You see today there's work ongoing. Unfortunately, it's difficult to fight Mother Nature. The rain has not helped. With the cooperation from the contractors, whatever time we've lost, things will be accelerated.
The airport road expansion, residents say, will on completion reduce security lapses.
Apart from adding to the aesthetics of Lagos Police, the completion of this 6-kilometer road will definitely impact on socio-economic activities in this part of the state. In Lagos, Paul Omukagu, NTA News.
The practice of receiving international calls with a local number known as call masking is engaging the attention of the regulatory agency and players in the telecommunications industry. This was stressed at the 85th edition of the Telecom Consumer Parliament in Lagos. Mohammed Abdul Kadri reports.
Out of every 10 international calls are the relatives overseas and not the rest of them, around 5 or 4 of them are masked.
The personal experience of Anthony Nwosu in the hands of call maskers might be the same with millions of other Nigerian subscribers. The Nigeria Communication Commission has barred over 750,000 lines owing to call masking, refiling, and SIM boxing. The regulatory agency also estimated that over 3 billion naira is lost as revenue yearly as a result of these crimes. Key players in the sector were therefore relieved that the Nigeria Communications Commission convened Telecom Consumer Parliament in Lagos with the theme Challenges of Call Masking and Refiling, Task Ahead for the Telecoms Industry.
The Commission is in the process of choosing the best from a list of technology solutions used in other countries.
Of great concern is the security implication which mask calls poses to our country.
Panel discussion provided a platform for providers and players in the sector to find resolutions to the problem.
Close to 1,000 phone numbers are being barred on a daily basis.
Parliamentarians say with various sanctions imposed by the regulatory agency, the crime should reduce. This is as observers noted that many Nigerians are unaware of the fraud, while others don't know what it means and what to do, as shown in the video slide presented at the forum. And the takeaway from the 85th edition of this engagement is that consumers should not sleep on their right and responsibility of reporting cases of call masking and profiling with a view to curbing the menace in the country. In Lagos, Muhammad Abdul Kadri, NTA News.
Well, that does it from Lagos. It's back to you, Elizabeth, for more on Network News. Good evening.
Thanks, Demola. Talking sports now, Nigeria to face USA on Friday at FIBA Women's World Cup in Spain with UEFA adopting VAR. Amazimakos